we've done this a handful of times, and I'm honored every single time this happens, because when I was covering baseball at the worldwide leader in sports for 7 years, that's when this guy was as great as they come, and he's one of the all-time greats, period. Baseball Hall of Famer, 3-time Cy Young Award winner, 8-time MLB All-Star, World Series champion from Turner Sports and MLB Network. Kind enough to join us on an All-Star Tuesday once again is the great Pedro Martinez. How are you, Pedro?
I'm great. Thank you for having me.
Man, I'll tell you, I didn't just say that because you were on hold, maybe listening to my introduction. I am honored every single time. I will never forget, I went down that memory lane again in advance of you coming on, the 1999 All-Star Game, in which you met the moment when everybody in Boston, in Fenway Park, Red Sox fans were hoping to see what you could do against that National League lineup, and you striking out 4 of the first 6 that you faced was incredible. And I'm wondering what was going through your mind when you took that mound that night, Pedro.
Well, Rich, as you know, I always want to kind of leap to the moment, and at the same time, I was always aware of the responsibility that came with, being in Boston, representing Ted Williams, because that was the All-Star game that was dedicated to him. I had the all-century team. All of the players that I grew up idolizing were around the field, and I was extremely honored to be chosen to start that game, because I don't think anybody would have taken it with as much responsibility as I did. I was fully aware that it was probably the most important All-Star game that was going to be played in my lifetime, because I don't think I'm going to live again to see the all-century team around the field again. And, I was really honored to actually live up to the moment, do what I was supposed to do in what probably will be the most important All-Star game that we all saw. And yesterday, when I saw Julio Rodriguez competing for the home run derby, it brought back, some memories. And when they started chanting Julio, 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 it brought back some memories of, my moments in Boston, my moments in while I was having success in Boston.
Yeah, I mean, him hitting 41 home runs in an at-bat in front of his home fans that wanted to see him do that was truly something else. And then, of course, him getting bested by Vladimir Guerrero Jr., whose dad was in the dugout of the National League that night in 1999, Pedro. It's kind of wild how things kind of come full circle in a way.
It is amazing. I'm the godfather for Vladimir Jr. I chose him to win it because not only he always dreamed about, becoming a home run derby champion, he did it in the first time. I thought he should have been the champion with as many homers as he did hit, but the format for the home run derby did not allow him to win. But it was always a dream for him to do that. I know him since he was a baby and since he was born. He always expressed that he wants to do everything his dad did, and if God allows him to do even more. So I'm extremely happy he got one of those achievements that his dad happened to have. And at the same time, how beautiful is it to see a father and a son, both of them win a home run derby, become stars, both of them. Now it's yet for him to get an MVP and get a championship. I wish him all the best, all of them. I think Julio put up a show yesterday. I think everybody represented so well. I was really impressed with the group of guys that were participating. Now, what we have to wait is to see who stands up in the game, in the actual game today.
Yeah, that goes down tonight. Pedro Martinez here on the Rich Eisen Show. And speaking of home run derbies, again going back to 1999, I was out there on the field along with Stuart Scott that night covering that home run derby for ESPN. And I remember at the time it was split up between National and American leagues in terms of teams going and competing against each other. if I'm not mistaken, in the middle of a McGwire at bat, when he, I think, hits 13 or 14 home runs in an at bat, right? And did you go up and try and steal the bat from him in the middle of like a timeout of his? Did you run up to him and take it, or try to, Pedro?
Yeah, I took his bat away. I said, "Hey, boy, you're intimidating us. So we need you to stop doing that now." He didn't. He didn't listen. He continued to hit bombs to the mass spike.
And I think he kept onto the bat even though it was broken. I think that bat was broken that you tried to take out of his hands. Pedro, did you know that?
Well, I at the time I took it, it was pretty good, but it didn't matter. With McGwire, it didn't matter. McGwire could take a little stick and hit balls out. I mean, it was just impressive. And I remember he told me, "Hey, little man, give me my bat back." And I gave him the bat back, and then I was holding on to one of his arms, and I was hanging from his arm, from his right arm. I mean, I know I wasn't really heavy, but I was hanging from one arm. It was unbelievable.
That was a heck of a night. And then Ted Williams, obviously, being there at the center of the diamond with the All-Century team. Who did you interact with that night with the All-Century team, Pedro?
You know, Rich, I had the honor and privilege to actually have Hank Aaron come over and shake my hand. I had the honor of, having Ted Williams come into his suite and say some beautiful things that he said to me after the game, and honor me. And to me, my highlight of all night was to see Hank Aaron walking by and moving through the people to say, "I want to shake Pedro Martinez's hand." He's a true pitcher. He's a true big leaguer. And that's what I wanted. That's why I told you earlier that I was really responsible with the way I showed up to the game, because I was aware that the cream of baseball was watching me. I wanted to look like a true baseball player like they were. And I did not want my generation to fall short in front of the All-Century team. So I wanted to show the generation before that we also, some of us believe in the big leagues and we belong. And that's exactly what I had, exactly from Ted Williams and from Hank Aaron. And I remember, as soon as I stretched his hands, I remember how thick his hands were.
Yeah.
And that never escaped my mind. And I was honored enough to actually have the opportunity to exchange with him in the Hall of Fame after I got inducted. And our relationship never broke. And I'm going to express this. Mm-hmm. I'm missing him big time in Cooperstown, and I'm missing Joe Morgan. Walking encyclopedias for me. And I always enjoyed my time in Cooperstown, basically just talking and going through history with them about so many things, not just baseball, but about so many things that they had to, go through in their careers. So I'm missing them big time.
Yeah, and Joe Morgan was there that night as well in 1999. Again, Pedro Martinez here. He's on MLB Network's MLB Tonight at 3 p.m. Pacific, live from Seattle in advance of this All-Star game. The conversation at the All-Star game surrounding Shohei Ohtani considerably right now. Pedro, what advice would you give him as he sits there on a team that's one game under 500? Mike Trout's not in this game tonight, as we all know, because of a broken hand that's going to keep him out of the Angels lineup for the foreseeable future. Free agency is impending. He's never hit free agency, and the Angels look like a team, again, that might fall short. And I understand there's still a lot of runway left in the season. What advice would you give Shohei Ohtani, Pedro Martinez?
I would just say to Shohei, I don't think he needs too much advice. I think he does everything great and it's showing. But if I was to give him one advice as my brother, as my son that he could be, I would just say take care of the things that you need to take care and worry about the things that you can control, and the ones that you can't, then forget about it. Have fun, have a lot of fun, and try to stay healthy. The future, I think, is going to take care of it by itself, and Shohei does not have to do anything else but what he's doing. I know he knows how to take care of himself. I had the opportunity to interact with him and exchange. He has unbelievable discipline, a really unique way of training himself for both things that he does, which is hitting and pitching. And one of the smartest people I can ever think of. And his education level is off the charts. And I'm not worried about Shohei. I'm more worried about the Angels not signing him, because whoever signs Shohei Ohtani is going to take all of Asia with them, all the merchandise with them. They're going to take all of the fans that were going to see Shohei Ohtani to the city that he lands. So if I was the Angels, as much as it's going to cost, I would pay it for Shohei Ohtani, because what he's going to bring in merchandise, in fans, and publicity and all that, I think it's worth every single penny, and not counting how much he can do as an athlete, as a baseball player. So for business, if I was going to invest in the stock market of Shohei Ohtani, I'll go probably bankrupt if I don't do it.
Now, I understand that. You just said two things, Pedro Martinez, that I want to hit. The first one is your interactions with him. What do you talk with him about? I'd love to be the fly on the wall of Pedro Martinez and Shohei Ohtani talking. What was that? What does that talk about?
Well, Shohei expressed to me that I was his idol as a pitcher, someone he looked up to, and I had the opportunity to do like a voiceover, a documentary that he's actually doing, and I got to learn so much. I got to learn how much he cares. I got to know, how he trains himself away from everybody. He has his own program. I got to know something nobody probably ever imagined. Shohei Ohtani wrote as a 14-year-old how he wanted to be a two-way player and be one of the best players that ever played. At 14 years old, he wrote that document, and his dad was able to pick it up and show it to us. And I was extremely impressed about how he wrote about his way of training, the way of picking up his meals and everything he needed to do in order for him to maintain his body doing both things in the big leagues. That's why I'm saying this kid is from another planet, because for you to draw at 14 years old your future and then come over and develop your future and your present, it's unbelievable. Who does that? Who says, I'm going to be 6'5", I'm going to be the good-looking guy, I'm going to be the good athlete to play both sides of the game, and at the same time stay healthy? His training program, his meals, everything. Describe his future literally in a piece of paper. That is the most remarkable thing I've ever seen. That to have a Shohei Ohtani to be me and Albert Pujols at once, it's just unreal. I said it yesterday in the program. I said, what you're watching from Shohei Ohtani is me and Albert Pujols together with an IQ off the charts.
And that intelligence that you're talking about, and the drive and the vision that you clearly are revealing about him as a 14-year-old. And the other thing that you said moments ago is that control only what you can control, but he can control his future. We're seeing it in the NBA with Damian Lillard telling the Blazers, I want out and I want to be traded. I want to be gone. We see that so many different times with athletes, and he can do that right now to tell the Angels, I want out. And the question is what is he thinking on that front? Because to me, all of this talent and all of this planning and all of this nonstop, as you just pointed out, work, it's a 24/7, 365 commitment here. He's not winning, and it looks like he's not going to win again. So he can control what he would do if he goes to the Angels and says, let's go. I want out, and I'll direct where I want to go, right?
I knowing Shohei Ohtani and his education level, he's not that type of guy that's going to say, I want out. Shohei is the nicest ever player, and I don't want him to be nice with any team. I want him to get all the money he can get. I want him to get all the facilities he can get because baseball is only so long. And you have an opportunity here to do what no one else is being able to do.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, he's going to pick and choose where he goes. If he is in the situation where he has to choose, I'm pretty sure he's going to probably pick and make the right choice. But Shohei Ohtani would never express that he wants out. Shohei Ohtani's education level is meant to understand and get along with anybody in baseball, with any team, with any organization, and he's going to be fine. His discipline level doesn't allow him to be outspoken about wanting to be anywhere. Now, the business part of it is dirty. You know it. Baseball has a dark side, and that's the business part of it. There's money involved. There's no caring about me, and there's no caring about you when it comes to negotiations. So Shohei Ohtani, I'm pretty sure, is going to make the best decisions he can make because, remember, this is the guy that described his future at 14 years old. And every step he has taken in Japan, anywhere he's been, has been the right one. So I'm expecting him to make the right choices here. And I'm sorry for the Angels if they don't have somewhere around $600 million for this guy because someone else is going to pay it. And I know that Shohei Ohtani might be the only player that's worth all that money right now.
Oh, yeah.
And not only that, the marketing, what he brings with his presence to the market is unreal. So if I'm the Angel, I'm making an effort. And believe it or not, the Angels don't look all that far from probably getting a spot to the postseason. And when you have to face Shohei Ohtani, Mike Trout, and the rest of the players, Rendon, if healthy, it's a scary team.
Yeah, I mean,
I think they can do anything.
If healthy,
but they have to get to the postseason.
Yeah, if healthy being the key words. In the 2 minutes I have left here, then Pedro, let's just put a fine point on it. And knowing Ohtani as much as you do. And your career, we all know what happened in Boston and what a different environment and how you performed in it, what a different plane it put you on for your career and obviously anything else that you want to do in your life. You got your foundation, which you would have had no matter what, I'm sure. But you understand what I'm saying by being in Boston and being in that environment and succeeding there. Do you think Ohtani wants that or he likes where he is in relative sort of quiet? And casting the die where it may on the winning and losing in Southern California with the Angels, or what it would be like if he goes to New York or Boston or keep naming towns like that, or even up the road for the Dodgers. Pedro, do you think he wants that?
I think he does. Ohtani is a great competitor. Ohtani is a great athlete. Believe me, he just has to let his abilities take over anywhere he goes. And believe me, when it comes to media attention, when it comes to being the center of everything, Ohtani's been there since he was 14 years old. Ohtani's being followed by more media than Hideo Nomo back in his days. I don't know if you remember that.
Sure.
Hideo Nomo, brought over all of Asia when it comes to media, plus the media here that wanted to see Hideo Nomo. And Ohtani has been dealing with that since he was a kid. So whatever attention there is, it's not anything that's going to impress Ohtani anymore. Ohtani is used to doing that on a daily basis. And also, Ohtani is used to dealing with success. Ohtani knows what to do to actually be successful in his sport. And he does it like nobody else has done it. For the next 100 years, we're going to be talking about a guy that did two things: hit and pitch as good as anybody that has ever played the game. And, going to New York, going to Toronto, going to San Diego, going to the Dodgers, going to the Mets, going to the Yankees is not going to affect the stage of mind that this kid is in. This kid is an amazing kid, very unique, and just like everything he does is very unique. And I'm pretty sure that whoever lands Ohtani is going to have a complete package when it comes to education, concentration, abilities, everything you can ask for. Ohtani has it.
You're the best, Pedro. Thanks again. Look forward to seeing you on MLB Network's MLB tonight at 6 Eastern, 3 Pacific in Seattle, live from the All-Star Game. You're one of my favorites, and I always appreciate you saying yes when I knock on your door. Thanks again, Pedro.
Thank you so much, Rich. It's an honor to be with you.
Thank you for saying that. That's Pedro Martinez, Hall of Famer. Period. End of story. Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.